When was the last time you reached out to a friend? I asked myself that and didn't like the answer. It started with a text I didn't want to read. "Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Everything okay?" I stared at it for a long time, not because I was busy, not because I didn't care, but because I realized something that had been quietly settling over the last year. I hadn't reached out to anyone. Not my college friends, not the coworkers I used to meet for coffee, not even the neighbors I used to wave to. I had been drifting, slowly, almost imperceptibly, into my own world, and apparently so had they. I didn't notice it at first. Life was full. Work deadlines, online scrolling, minor errands, but somewhere between "I'll text them tomorrow" and "I'll see them soon," the messages stopped. Calls went unanswered, birthdays passed without fanfare, and every time I noticed, I told myself it was fine. They'd understand. They were busy too. Until I opened that text, and I realized maybe no one noticed at all. I tried reaching out. A few replies came, polite but short. A few invitations, yes, but none that I could actually follow through with. The patterns were clear. Some friends were too far away, others had moved on, and some just didn't make the effort. It wasn't malicious, it wasn't dramatic, it was just life. And I felt lonely, really lonely. The kind of loneliness that seeps in quietly, after the laughter stops, after the Zoom calls end, after the weekend passes without anyone checking in. I considered giving up, forgetting the people I once called friends. Maybe life was meant to be lived like this, in small slices of interaction, occasional social media likes, and distant memories. But something inside me refused. I decided to start small. Not grand gestures, not weekly dinners, not forced meetups. I started with tiny interactions, commenting on someone's post, sending a meme I thought they'd like, asking a neighbor if they needed help with their groceries. Little nudges of presence, not expecting anything in return. And then something unexpected happened. It wasn't my old friends who responded first. It wasn't the people I had known for decades. It was people I had barely noticed before. Coworkers I'd only said hello to in passing. A friend of a friend I met at a party once. Even a neighbor who always smiled, but I never stopped to talk to. They responded. They showed up. Not all at once, and not in the way I imagined, but in moments that mattered. Small acts. A quick coffee chat, a shared walk, a text that said, "I'm here, I see you." And with each interaction, I realized something important. The friends I needed weren't necessarily the ones I thought I did. They weren't tied to history, nostalgia, or comfort. They were tied to presence, effort, and the willingness to meet each other halfway, even when life was messy. It was a subtle transformation at first. Lunches replaced solitary dinners. Group chats replaced scrolling alone. I discovered people I could trust, laugh with, and lean on. People who challenged me, inspired me, and quietly reminded me that friendship isn't a static thing. It grows, fades, and sometimes reappears in unexpected places. The friends I never knew I needed became my reality. They weren't perfect, they weren't always available, but they showed up. And that, I realized, was enough. Months later, I ran into one of my old friends from college. He noticed the change immediately. "You seem happier," he said. I hesitated. Part of me wanted to say, "Yeah, I'm finally back in touch with everyone I used to know." But that wasn't true. "I found new people," I said instead. His smile faltered just a little, but he nodded. And I knew I didn't need his approval or nostalgia to feel complete. Because life had taught me something invaluable. We can't force old connections, and we can't rely solely on the past to fill our present. But we can recognize opportunity when it shows up. We can choose to engage, to be present, and to let new friendships take root in the spaces we leave open. Sometimes the friends you never knew you needed aren't the ones you grew up with. Sometimes they're the ones who appear quietly, unexpectedly, when you're brave enough to make space for them.
I've stopped worrying about who I've lost. I've stopped trying to reclaim old patterns. Instead, I focus on who is here now. And in doing so, I've learned the kind of friendship that matters isn't about history, it's about presence, effort, and willingness to show up for each other, even in small ways. The friends I never knew I needed showed me that, and I will never take them for granted.
If this story resonated with you, take a moment to like the video and share it with someone who might need it today. Subscribe for more quiet stories about connection, growth, and finding your way. Until next time, keep showing up.